Everyone has dreams. Everyone has desires. You may have a vision deep inside you, a business you want to build, a healthier life you want to live, a relationship you want to restore, or a purpose you want to fulfill. Those dreams are not random. They are seeds planted in your heart for a reason. But dreams alone don't build destiny. Passion can start the fire, but it's discipline that keeps it burning. Desire gives you the spark, but discipline builds what carries you across from where you are to where you're meant to be. Many people stop at desire. They feel inspired, motivated, and excited for a moment. They say, I'm going to change my life. I'm going to do something great. But as the days go by, the excitement fades, the emotions cool down, and life's routine creeps back in. That's where most dreams die. Not because people don't have potential, but because they lack persistence. Discipline is what separates inspiration from transformation. Inspiration makes you feel good for a moment. Discipline makes you grow for a lifetime. You see, discipline is not about punishment. It's about alignment. It's aligning your actions with your assignment. It's choosing what you want most over what you want now. It's waking up early when your feelings say sleep in. It's speaking faith when fear whispers failure. It's staying consistent even when results seem far away. Every time you choose discipline, you're building a bridge of strength under your feet. You may not see how far it stretches yet, but every step forward is taking you closer to your destiny. Think about an athlete training for the championship. They don't win because they show up on game day with excitement. They win because they've been disciplined on the days no one was watching. They practiced when it was hard, when they were tired, when the results were invisible. That's what discipline does. It builds quiet strength behind the scenes so that success can shine in the spotlight. The same is true in every area of life. Maybe you're working toward financial freedom. Discipline is not just about making money. It's about managing it wisely, saying no to temporary pleasure for the sake of long-term peace. Maybe you're working on your health. Discipline is choosing the food that fuels your body instead of the one that satisfies your craving. Maybe you're growing spiritually. Discipline is spending time in reflection and gratitude, even when your schedule is full. Each choice might feel small, but small, consistent choices create massive transformation over time. Discipline is the silent builder of destiny. It's the foundation nobody sees, but everyone admires once the results appear. People may call it luck, but you'll know it wasn't luck. It was discipline. It was waking up when you didn't feel like it, working when you were weary, believing when it didn't make sense, and staying faithful when progress was slow. Machiavelli once wrote that whoever conquers himself is greater than the one who conquers a city. That's what discipline does. It teaches you to conquer yourself. The real battle isn't out there, it's in here. The struggle between comfort and calling, between excuses and excellence, between emotion and intention. Every time you say no to the old habits that hold you back, you're saying yes to the new life that's waiting ahead. Discipline doesn't always feel good in the moment. It often asks you to sacrifice comfort, convenience, and even approval. But here's the truth: comfort never built greatness. Discipline may hurt for a season, but regret lasts a lifetime. When you live disciplined, you might not always feel happy, but you will feel fulfilled. At peace, knowing you're walking in purpose, not just floating through existence. When you choose discipline, you're not just shaping your behavior, you're shaping your character, and character determines destiny. A disciplined life is a directed life, one that refuses to drift. It's saying, I refuse to be swayed by mood, pressure, or opinion. I live by principles, not feelings. That's the kind of mindset that moves mountains, restores families, builds legacies, and fulfills divine purpose. So when you feel that gap between where you are and where you want to be, don't get discouraged. That space is not a void. It's a bridge waiting to be built. And every act of discipline, every act of self-control, every moment of consistency lays another plank across that bridge. You may not cross it overnight, but if you keep walking in discipline, you will cross it in time. Your desire gave you the vision. Your discipline will deliver the victory. Greatness is rarely built in grand moments. It's built in quiet ones. The strength that sustains a person through storms doesn't appear overnight. It's developed through the small, consistent decisions made every single day. Every choice, no matter how ordinary it may seem, is shaping the kind of person you are becoming. Life doesn't change in a day, it changes daily. Every morning brings opportunities, disguised as decisions, to stay comfortable or to grow stronger, to drift or to direct, to give up or to go forward. When you think about discipline or success, it's easy to imagine it coming from one huge breakthrough, one big decision, one big opportunity, one perfect moment that changes everything. But life doesn't work that way. True power is formed in the small moments when no one is watching. It's in those quiet choices, choosing to get up on time, choosing to speak kindness instead of criticism, choosing to do the work instead of procrastinating, that you build the muscles of strength and character. Every small decision becomes a brick, and one by one, those bricks create the foundation of your destiny. Machiavelli understood that consistency is a greater weapon than chance. The person who wins is not always the most talented, but the one who learns to show up faithfully. Strength is built not in the extraordinary, but in the ordinary done with extraordinary commitment. When you make the decision to keep moving forward, even in small ways, you are building spiritual stamina. You may not see results instantly, but something is growing inside you. Resilience, focus, determination, faith. Think about a seed planted in the ground. You water it, nurture it, and wait patiently. You may not see anything for weeks, but underneath the surface, roots are taking hold. That's how discipline works. The small decisions you make today, to pray, to study, to work diligently, to stay grateful, they may seem insignificant, but they are growing roots that will sustain you when life gets heavy. The fruit doesn't come immediately, but it always comes eventually. Every strong person you admire, every leader, every achiever, every overcomer, didn't get there by doing one great thing once. They got there by doing the right things repeatedly. They understood that excellence is not an act, It's a habit. And habits are born from decisions repeated over time. The good news is, you don't have to change everything at once. You just have to start with one choice. One moment of self-control. One act of faith. One decision to keep showing up. Over time, those small steps will lead to a giant leap. Maybe you're trying to build a better life, and you feel overwhelmed by how far you still have to go. But remember, no mountain is climbed in one stride. It's climbed one step at a time. Each small act of discipline is progress, even if it doesn't look like much. Every time you say no to distraction, every time you choose patience over frustration, every time you do what's right instead of what's easy, you're growing stronger. You're proving to yourself that you can be trusted with more, that you can handle more, that you can rise higher. It's easy to underestimate the power of a single decision. We tell ourselves that skipping one day won't matter, that one small compromise won't hurt. But success and failure are both the results of accumulated choices. The person who succeeds simply made a habit of doing what others refuse to do. The person who fails often did so not because of one bad decision, but because of many little ones that slowly weakened their resolve. Every moment is an opportunity to either strengthen your foundation or crack it. Discipline begins with awareness. When you recognize that every choice has consequence and every action carries weight, you stop treating your days casually. You begin to see that small decisions are sacred. They carry the potential to either bring you closer to your purpose or pull you further from it. The words you speak, the thoughts you entertain, the habits you allow, these are the architects of your future. The more intentional you become with the small things, the more control you'll gain over the big ones. There's a quiet power in consistency. Anyone can make a change for a day, but the one who stays faithful day after day becomes unstoppable. You may not always feel motivated, but motivation fades. Commitment remains. When you learn to do what's right even when it's inconvenient, when you act out of conviction instead of comfort, you start building a kind of strength that nothing can shake. That strength doesn't shout, it endures. It doesn't boast, it builds. The truth is, discipline isn't forged in moments of excitement. It's forged in moments of decision. It's not about perfection. It's about progression. You won't always get it right, but every time you choose to try again, you're growing. Every moment of self-control, every instance of persistence, every choice to keep going even when no one notices. Those are the moments that define your character. Over time, those small victories accumulate into a powerful legacy of strength that cannot be taken away. There is a power greater than controlling circumstances, greater than influencing others, greater even than conquering challenges. It's the power of mastering yourself. When you learn to rule your own thoughts, emotions, and actions, you become unshackable. The storms may come, people may disappoint you, plans may change, but the person who has mastered their inner world stands firm, no matter what happens around them. Machiavelli understood this truth centuries ago. True strength doesn't begin in the outer world, it begins within. Every person faces two battles in life, the one on the outside and the one on the inside. The external battle is what everyone can see: the work struggles, the financial pressures, the relationships, the health challenges. But the internal battle is silent, invisible, and constant. The battle with doubt, fear, insecurity, impatience, and temptation. Most people spend all their energy trying to fix what's happening around them. But the secret to real power is to first win the war within. Once you conquer yourself, everything else becomes conquerable. To master yourself means to live in control of your mind instead of being controlled by it. Your thoughts are powerful forces. They shape your words, direct your actions, and ultimately determine your destiny. That's why discipline begins with mental mastery. The mind will try to convince you that it's too hard, that you're too tired, that you should quit. But when you've learned to lead your thoughts instead of following them, you've taken the first step toward true freedom. A disciplined mind doesn't react, it responds. It doesn't follow emotion, it follows purpose. Emotions are part of being human. Fear, anger, sadness, excitement, they all have a place. But when emotions sit in the driver's seat, they lead you into decisions you'll later regret. Mastery is not about denying emotions. It's about directing them. It's knowing how to feel the fear and still move forward, to feel the disappointment and still stay hopeful, to feel the pressure and still stay composed. When you can stay calm in chaos, you become a leader not only of your life, but also of your environment. People who master themselves don't wait for peace, they create it. You've probably met people who always seem to be at the mercy of their moods. If things are going well, they're happy. If something goes wrong, they're discouraged. But a person who has mastered themselves doesn't live by the weather of their feelings. They live by the compass of their convictions. They know who they are and what they're called to do. And that inner clarity keeps them steady. That's what makes them reliable, consistent, and respected. Not because life is easy for them, but because they don't let life dictate their attitude. Machiavelli wrote that to rule others, one must first rule oneself. And that truth remains timeless. If you can't control your impulses, you'll always be controlled by them. If you can't discipline your mind, others will manipulate it. Mastery isn't about power over others. It's about authority over your own choices. Every time you choose patience over anger, focus over distraction, integrity over compromise, you're demonstrating mastery. You're proving to yourself that your values, not your urges, lead your life. This kind of discipline doesn't happen overnight. It's built through awareness and repetition. It begins with noticing how you react under pressure. When someone offends you, do you immediately respond in anger, or do you pause, breathe, and choose your words wisely? When a challenge appears, do you complain, or do you look for solutions? Every response reveals the level of mastery within you. The good news is, it can always be strengthened. The more you practice self-control, the more natural it becomes. What once triggered you will no longer have power over you. Mastering yourself is also about understanding your weaknesses. Not to shame yourself, but to shape yourself. Self-awareness is the foundation of self-discipline. You can't lead what you don't understand. When you recognize your tendencies, your triggers, your habits, your patterns. You gain the power to redirect them. The goal is not to be flawless, it's to be intentional. Every moment you become aware of your inner world. You take one step closer to ruling it. Think about the great leaders, thinkers, and builders of history. They weren't perfect people, but they were disciplined people. They understood that power without control leads to destruction, while control guided by wisdom leads to greatness. When you have mastery over yourself, you don't need to manipulate others or chase validation. You move with quiet confidence because you know who you are and where you're going. The person who has mastered themselves walks through life with calm authority. They don't need to prove anything to anyone. Their peace speaks louder than their words. They've learned that reacting is easy, but responding is powerful. Complaining is easy, but correcting is powerful. Giving up is easy, but growing through it is powerful. That power isn't loud or boastful. It's steady, patient, and enduring. Mastery is not about control for control's sake. It's about freedom. It's about being free from the chaos of emotional swings, free from the pull of temptation, free from the influence of negativity. It's about knowing that no matter what happens around you, you have authority over how you respond. That's true power. Not the ability to change everything outside, but the ability to remain strong and steady inside. Discipline is not a single act. It's a way of living. It's the quiet strength that builds success, the unseen force that carries dreams into reality. From the spark of desire to the steady flame of destiny, it's discipline that holds everything together. You've seen how every small decision adds up, how mastering yourself opens doors, and how even pain, though temporary, can become the foundation of lasting power. When you choose discipline, you choose growth. You choose to lead your life with intention instead of impulse. You choose to keep walking even when the path feels steep, to keep believing even when results seem far away. Each choice, each moment of self-control, each act of perseverance becomes a brick in the structure of your destiny. The truth is, greatness doesn't belong to the gifted. It belongs to the consistent. The strongest people aren't those who never fall. They're those who refuse to stay down. Every act of discipline is a declaration that your purpose is stronger than your pain. Your faith is greater than your fear. And your destiny is worth every ounce of effort it takes to reach it. So decide today that discipline will no longer be a burden, but a blessing. Let it be your bridge from desire to destiny, your daily commitment to becoming all that you were created to be. The life you dream of isn't waiting for luck. It's waiting for discipline. Because when you master discipline, you don't just change your habits, you transform your entire future.